Howdy folks, my name is Howdy and you're watching Brickity Split, the show where we talk all things LEGO Star Wars. And lately the community has been pretty depressed with 2025, so instead it's time to talk about one of the best and most influential years of LEGO Star Wars history. 2002 saw the release of Attack of the Clones, which was accompanied by a splendid wave of LEGO sets, and today I'm going to rank each of them from worst to best. And before we start ranking, it's worth mentioning that there is not a single bad set that came out this year, which I think is really cool. Not a lot of years can say that about themselves. The early years of LEGO Star Wars were really quite experimental times. There's a bunch of buildable characters released this year, which I think I'm going to save for their own ranking video, so we're going to exclude those. So instead, we'll kick things off with these 4 little mini sets, each $7 with a few figs and a cool build. These came in pairs, one pair for the third act of Return of the Jedi, where Luke fights Vader and all that, and then 2 more for the opening scene of The Phantom Menace. But none of these builds are really all that impressive. It's a walkway and a chair, and then a door and some droidicas. I'll take the door and the droidicas if I'm being honest. I still think these are the best droidica designs LEGO's ever made. I would love to see a modern redesign that's actually good, but these had some nice quality figs at a low price. Can't go wrong. Moving on now to yet another gimmick set. Don't worry, this is our last one. The 7194 Yoda is a very odd set. The first of its kind, really, unless you count the Darth Maul bust from the year prior. But these big brick-built characters are pretty commonplace now, but back then that was pretty outside the box. 1,075 pieces for $100 sounds about right, and even though the part usage is like exclusively bricks, it looks really good. These eyes, I kid you not, look better than what LEGO is able to do 17 years later. There is nothing wrong with the set, I just don't know how to rank it against the other sets this year, because they're all pretty strong, you know, there's pretty stiff competition here, and this kind of set just isn't really for me. Okay, moving on now to the more standard playsets that we've come to expect. This is a set that's only been made once as a standalone model, and I would love to see a remake because I love this vehicle. The 7119 Twin Pod Cloud Car is not the most pleasant set to look at, especially with that out of place brown. If that was red, this would look pretty good. This has got some pretty blocky structuring here on the cockpit, but quite the smooth and slender nose, I might add. This did strangely only come with one figure, which is weird because the whole point is that, you know, there are 2 of them, but those windscreens are on hinges and can be opened, and the outer wall of each cloud car can actually fold down as well to give you easier access into the little interior there. And the little chungus, I don't know what to call it, in the middle there, it's on hinges on one side, so you can lift it up, and you can't actually store the one accessory that comes with the set, being Lobot's walkie-talkie. So I don't know why it's there, but I do just generally find hinges cool, so I guess that's a plus. Not a lot else to say. Still a super cool vehicle. I would love to see a standalone remake that's not in a freaking $400 Master Builder series, whatever. Though I firmly believe none of these sets are bad, I think now we're getting into like the good sets, right? And this next set is one that I actually picked up recently. The 7103 Jedi Duel is not what most would remember from Attack of the Clones. It is a very blue speeder driven by Count Dooku and a crane that lifts up Yoda so he can do his cool flips. Jokes aside, I do really like the little movable arm that you can hook Yoda up to so you can flip him around. That's a really creative play feature for this set. I like the speeder design. It just should have been like brown or tan or gray, or like anything would have been better than baby blue. But still, beautiful printed parts, creative use of this shield piece right here. He's got little foot pedals that he has no hope of ever reaching, and people are really mean about this Yoda head mold. Like, yeah, it'd be better with printing, but I mean, it's a really accurate mold. It looks really good. I don't think there was anything wrong with this mold. They should not have remolded it, just give it printing. Perfect Yoda. This is a fantastic playset for only $10 and some banging minifigures to boot. Moving on now to another $10 set, this one with all exclusive minifigures, that's right. The 7113 Tusken Raider encounter I think is the only set that's ever been made of this scene. Probably just because it's a pretty violent scene and LEGO tends to lean a little more PG with their sets. But I mean, if these are the sets that come of it, I mean, I'm okay with you slaughtering some more Tusken Raiders. Got a super sweet looking speeder bike design. I've always loved the dark red here. This is how you make a speeder bike in LEGO. This right here, this is depressing. Let's stop doing this, please. It looks like it came from a 4+ set. An excellent caped young Anakin figure with a chrome lightsaber takes on a couple of awesome Tusken Raider minifigures. Even though these face prints are hilarious and I love them, I am kind of glad that they ended up molding these later, but these still look really good for the time, and they didn't have yellow skin. How about that? And I've seen a lot of people actually surprised that this set does come with a second build. It's this little moisture vaporator back here. Even though this set has a little less play potential than the Jedi Duel, it does have a bonus minifigure and musket, which is why I decided to put it 1 spot higher. And the speeder is actually the bright color. Who knew, right? This next set is a pretty anomalous case where my autistic ass didn't even know this set existed until recently. I have seen and heard nothing about this set, which is a tragedy because it's so cool. The 7139 Ewok Attack is maybe the best example of bang for your buck from these classic years of LEGO Star Wars. For $13, you got 2 Ewoks, a Stormtrooper, a Scout Trooper, a speeder bike, a catapult, and a hang glider. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Why? How has no one talked about this? This is absurd. The hang glider even has these awesome printed plastic pieces for like the sails or whatever you call them. The speeder bike is an upgrade from the 1999 version. I find this new version a bit too chonky in the middle, but I'll make that sacrifice for how smooth this looks now. It was definitely a little bit ugly before. Speaking of ugly, these Ewoks are not doing it for me. I mean, they didn't really print any kind of molds, you know, like Chewbacca head molds, Yoda head molds, no printing to speak of. This, I think, was the case where printing was most needed, but LEGO said no anyway. The catapult is both awesome and self-explanatory. You load one end with a rock, you flick the other with your finger, and boom, chunk of rock flying at a stormtrooper at 30 miles an hour. I cannot get over that glider. It is so freaking cool. I would love to see a modern remake of this set, but of course LEGO would find some way to screw it up. You know, they'd make it so that you had to put stickers on these pieces or something like that. And if you really boil it down to its essence, this is a battle pack. Maybe the first one LEGO ever made, now that I think about it. You could totally buy, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these and make a giant indoor battle, and it would be sick. Call me old-fashioned, but I kind of see more value in this than I do in the 327th Super Battle Pack, which is really funny in like a sad way. Like if they made a new version of this that was also $45, I would sooner buy that than the 327th Battle Pack. I kid you not. I think this set is freaking awesome. I hope to own it someday. And if you were like me and didn't know this existed until just now, I hope you like it too. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. Now again, I love every set that came out this year, but this next one does present a bit of a conundrum for me. The 7153 Jango Slave 1 is an enormous upgrade over Boba Fett's Slave 1 just 2 years before this. This is just a remarkable improvement in every way possible, but compared to most of the sets coming up on this list, it kind of looks just a little bit hideous. And I promise this is not recency bias because of that new Slave 1 they just made. I just think this design does not hold up. This maybe could have come out like 5 years later and still looked pretty good, but most of the sets coming up later in the list still hold up 10, 15, 20 years later. So I can't in good conscience put this too high, I hope you understand. But, this had splendid play features, tons of opening panels for various firepower and storage areas and things like that. And you guys know me, you know I'm a fan of them hinges. I know a lot of people that have nostalgia bias for this set just because of that classic Jango Fett, and there's just something about this figure, I don't know how to explain it. It hasn't aged well, but I don't care. Something about that original mold with the helmet and the jetpack in silver just looks so good. And no arm printing or leg printing, unfortunately. Can you imagine if we got this figure but with Cloud City Boba Fett treatment? Oh my gosh. But still, if you want to buy this figure in new condition today, it'll cost you upwards of $380. Even if you want to buy one in rough condition, you're still going to need at least one Benjamin. He has a black head with a yellow print for his face, which is kind of interesting, which unfortunately means the yellow color is kind of like washed out, but the color wasn't right to begin with, so I don't really care. Speaking of not right, young Boba Fett is not doing it for me. He does not look very good, but that's okay. Children don't really have responsibilities, so I can't be too harsh on them. This set is really cool, and I do love it, even the build. It's just that this is one of the worst aging sets of the entire year, which especially sucks, because for 23 years, if you wanted a Jango Fett Slave 1, this was your only hope. That set I would consider a little bit overrated, and moving on now to one that I would consider underrated. I do not see anyone talking about how good this set is. People take this one for granted, I tell you what. The ambiguously named 7143 Jedi Starfighter honestly captured the shape of a Delta 7 better than most ships even today. And no, it's not terribly pretty, but I would take this over this any day. This piece right here, I don't even know what to call this shape, but it's used in tons of sets and I always love it every single time. I just love what it brings to the table for shaping, especially for things like starships, and they went above and beyond for the printing details here. Oh, I'm loving it. What I'm loving less though is the omission of R4's body. I don't need the body to be buried inside the ship, I think that's kind of dumb. But I mean, wouldn't it be nice to have a body for when you're not flying around? I mean, you're just kind of bound to this wing for all of eternity with no hope of ever moving anywhere. But Obi-Wan's doing great, his body is completely intact, and his head has a little mouthpiece print, love that. Honestly, if they just tiled off these wings a little bit more, this could have been released like 10 or 15 years later and totally blended in. I think this set looks really good. And almost everyone I've ever talked to who doesn't think this set is cool, their only argument is that
old equals bad. It's old and I hate it. Old man, stinky old.
Like, imagine there are no LEGO sets past 2002, and you're gonna try to tell me this is not a banger? Like, come on. At only 4th place now, we have a UCS set, which I'm sure some of you guys didn't see coming. And I honestly think, aside from like one issue with this set, this could have been like a top 15 UCS set of all time. Like, it looks really good. But instead, it kind of just got overlooked, which really sucks. The 10030 Imperial Star Destroyer is an absolute behemoth. This was most likely made to pair with the UCS Rebel Blockade Runner from 2001, and the attention to detail on this model is astounding. Really, the only sign of its age would be the old gray color that it used, and maybe this gap down the middle. A lot of people have issues with that. I think it's mostly fine. A lot of these bigger pieces that you see are actually actually held in place via magnets, which can get weaker over time, which I guess is a downside as well. Structurally, this set was quite challenged. I'm not going to argue anyone on that, but it looks incredible for a set from 2002. And my only true problem with how this looks is that this chunk right here, I've called it the sandwich before, it's too tall. It's the right like length and width and everything, but it is too tall. That's one of the only like aesthetic gripes I have about this. Everything else looks incredible, and there's no like interior or anything, which some people are surprised about. But I mean, even the 2019 UCS Star Destroyer and the 2023 Venator, they didn't have interior. Unless it came with like 10 minifigures or something, I wouldn't really see a desperate need for an interior space in the set, so that's fine. $270 got you 3,096 pieces. And keep in mind, a lot of those pieces are quite large paneling pieces for the top here, so the price per piece people and the price per gram people are all going to be happy about this one. That is some pretty darn good value if I do say so myself. Taking the third place spot is one of the most legendary LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. It needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce it anyway. The 7163 Republic Gunship is probably to this day the best Republic gunship they've ever made for play. I kid you not, the designs have only evolved with each gunship, but the play potential has only regressed with each gunship. If you're a kid who wants to play with a toy, this is as good as it got. Even looking at this through modern eyes, I cannot tell you this has aged poorly. I still think it looks pretty darn good. The only problem I really have with it is that there's just random colors wherever they feel like it. It's like they designed the set to be entirely white and red and green, and then like 16 of the pieces went on strike and said, "I feel like being dark blue.
I think I should be orange. This is ridiculous."
Are you gonna try to tell me what colors I can and can't be?
Now, unfortunately, I can't physically show you these play features because I don't have let's see, oh my gosh. But not only is this baby equipped for battle, and not only can it carry your troops, but it unfolds into a full-blown, like, command center. And it gets crazier than that. Once you unfold the big command center, the rest of the ship is only connected by 3 Technic pins and can be lifted up from the rest of it, giving you this, like, little Republic dropship thing to fly around, so you can drop off your command center and then pick it back up later. This is insane. All of these play features in freaking one set, by the way. Is it inaccurate? Sure. But do I care? No. I'm trying to come up with a flaw to balance things out, but I kind of can't come up with anything, man. This set is just awesome. Also worth mentioning, this set comes with 4 clone troopers, which is more than any other Republic gunship has ever come with before. And leading these clones into battle is the renowned Jedi Bob, who in new condition could be yours for only $115. He and his clones are up against the equally expensive Pearl Sand Blue Super Battle Droids. They've only been made in this color once, there are 2 of them in this set, and they break like nobody's business. There are probably landfills full of broken Pearl Sand Blue Super Battle Droids. It is tragic how brittle they were, but man, they look so freaking good in that color. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe not the most accurate color choice, but man, it just reminds me of a comic book. You know, when something's like black or like dark gray or something in a comic book, it often would be depicted in like a blue hue, which I think is really cool and classy looking. And these $100 beauties are also accompanied by the only other appearance of that classic Droideka model that LEGO Star Wars has ever made. I really like that model, just no nonsense, pretty small pieces, they rolled up pretty good. Great use of the revolver piece and the binocular piece. Oh, I want to kiss them. Man, this set does not miss. I cannot name like a single bad thing about this set. If you want to be a little dickhead in the comments, you could be like,
That thing is disgusting. It looks so ugly.
and I would argue that you look ugly. I'm just kidding. I love you, but you have bad opinions. For those of you keeping track, you know there's 2 sets left, and it was very, very difficult for me to choose my number 1. But at number 2 is the 10026 UCS Naboo Starfighter. The cheapest UCS set ever made at only $40. This chromed out beauty makes even the most modern Naboo Starfighter models look like garbage. It is shocking to me how fast they were able to improve this design. This was from 1999, and this is 3 years later. You see this? And sure, it's UCS, but still, they didn't have to make it any bigger to make it look good. This is still play scale. I have 3 obnoxious nitpicks about this set that kept it from the top spot. Or I guess 4 if I feel like being an asshole, which I usually do. Number 1, this 1x4 plate right here is in light gray. Old light gray with that ugly yellow hue. If this was chromed out, it probably would have made the number 1 spot. But it looks so ugly once you notice it, and you can't unnotice it. Gripe number 2. Again, these big beautiful pieces, I love them so much. You have to cover up their chromed beauty with a sticker, and I just hate that. Then again, there's not really a workaround for that. Like, I doubt they're able to print on a brick with chrome plating on it. Gripe number 3. This is not a real cockpit that you can put somebody in. Granted, the set did not come with a minifigure, so this was an understandable compromise, and those pieces do look really cool. But I mean, how easy would it have been to just hollow out a little cockpit and then put a windshield over it? Like, man, I can't help but feel like that was a missed opportunity, you know? And then gripe number 4, because I'm an asshole, this square box art on the square box looks great, but they reused this box art for the rectangular manual, leaving this big black slab of outer space just sitting there. It looks horrible. But yeah, you know a set is good when the only negatives I can come up with are 4 of the smallest possible nitpicks you can imagine. But while we're on the topic of box art, it's worth mentioning that this Attack of the Clones Coruscant box art is not the only one that exists. There's also this sort of concept art for the Phantom Menace, where the Naboo Starfighter is seen with a Lucrehulk in the background. This is maybe because they were planning on releasing this sooner, you know, in 2000, 2001, something like that, but either because they didn't have time or they wanted to wait for the release of Attack of the Clones, they ended up releasing it in 2002, and subsequently, you know, changed the box art. I just thought that was a really cool fact. I don't know, 98% of this set is absolute perfection, and then the other 2% is composed of completely obnoxious nitpicks. I acknowledge that. Man, I really wish they made small UCS sets like this still. Imagine a modern version of this, you know, with those nitpicks I just mentioned, they've all been fixed, but it comes out today for, you know, $70, $80 with the chrome parts and everything. Oh my goodness. I don't speak for everybody, but I would buy the crap out of that set. I feel like that would be a huge hit. It was so difficult for me to put that set at the number 2 spot, but the number 1 spot has an even more special place in my heart. What I think is barely the best set this year, the 7133 Bounty Hunter Pursuit. I feel like this set should speak for itself. Freaking look at it. I recently picked up these builds because they are some of the most gorgeous things I have ever seen. These surprisingly modern, sleek designs coupled with the vibrant colors make an experience that LEGO Star Wars fans seldom get to see. Beautiful prints all over the place, not a single sticker to be found. Brilliant and creative part usage that would make any mock builder swoon. Also chrome parts if you weren't sold on it already. If the builds don't impress you, the figures will. Excellent Obi-Wan, excellent Anakin, and Zam freaking Wessel. Look at the continual printing from torso to waist to leg. Oh my gosh, we are being spoiled here. Also, double-sided face, which was like the second time we had ever seen that in LEGO at the time. Obi-Wan and Anakin are fairly cheap, but if you want that Zam Wessel, it's gonna cost you over $90, which is honestly kind of fair. I get it. Gosh, this set is so near perfection. For something as old as 2002, that is remarkable. I had to sit here and think about it for a while, but there are like maybe 3 things you could consider like flaws about this set. Number 1, yellow skin. That's not ideal, but that's just how it was back then. I think that's fine. Number 2, this is slightly more of an issue. These little dark green plates at the back of Zam Wessel's speeder are very studded, and for how smooth everything else looks, it's kind of out of place. Some kind of tiling there would have made the surface of this build perfect, but that's okay. I'll let that slide too. Something I'm less inclined to let slide is this windscreen for Zam Wessel's speeder. You are flawless. Keep doing your thing. This windscreen though, not only are the colors washed out to where they don't match the color of the bricks, but that joint at the bottom there, though it may look like one of those nice, strong, rigid ones, it is shockingly floppy and causes the windscreen to just fall over all the time. But that's the only like substantial flaw with this set that I've been able to come up with. Which leads me to what I think is the best part about this set. These dark translucent curved pieces back here. They're hooked up to this internal rubber band system to where when you pull them back, these 2 front pieces of Zam Wessel's speeder just fall off. So you can literally act out a big scene where Zam Wessel's speeder crashes and explodes into a bunch of pieces. It is such a brilliantly designed play feature, and surprisingly that doesn't mean that these front pieces are all floppy and everything. They have a little bit of give to them, but they aren't going anywhere. But besides those 3 minor flaws, I think this is one of the greatest LEGO Star Wars sets of all time, and I feel like it's one of those sets where everyone in the community knows that it's good, but in the conversation of the best LEGO Star Wars sets, it's completely brushed over. No one talks about it, and I think that's unfortunate. These are just such uniquely beautiful builds, and even if we never get a remake of these, I'm plenty happy with these builds as is, and they came out in 2002? My goodness. That is going to do it for my ranking today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm sure you agreed and disagreed with plenty. Be sure to let me know all about it down in the comments. I love reading the comments and talking LEGO Star Wars with people. If you enjoyed this video, and if you're looking forward to my 2003 ranking, I'll be sure to throw a couple more videos up on the screen that you may enjoy. Once again, I am Howdy. This has been Brickity Split. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and take it easy.